La 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 la. Oh, my bad. This ain't no singing competition. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to introduce myself real quick. I am Josh, and this is my first ever podcast. So I want you to stay tuned, keep your eyes and ears open, because I think I got something good in store for you. And it's like I said, this is the first one, and there's many more to come. So let's get it cracking. Ladies and gentlemen, non-gender bias and gender bias, black, white, brown, yellow, and all colors of the spectrum. Welcome to the There's a Greater Meaning, right? Podcast show. I don't have a cool alias, so we're going to keep it on first name basis. I'm Josh, and I'm your tour guide, so I want you to strap in, buckle up, get your pants, get your TV, get your drawers. Let's go home, and let's get it going. Alright, so this podcast today is about limits. So according to my immaculate research and findings on the World Wide Web, the definitions rather I say, because you can't go with the first thing you find. You know, Wikipedia is just not a reliable source. But the definitions that I found were these following three. The first one was something that bounds, restrains, and confines. Now that definition is just very bland and dry. I don't really think it assists us with anything. The second definition I found was a geographic or political boundary. So that's more so talking on state lines ish, you know, the whole Confederacy versus, you know, all that crap. And the third one that I found useful for today, it's a prescribed maximum or minimum amount, quantity, or number. So with that being said, we're gonna work off that definition a little bit more today. So just a few examples of like limits from my understanding is like, let's say you have a rubber band and you turn that son of a sideways and you stick it right up your rooty poot. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm gonna calm down. Shout out to the WWF. Nah, but if you take a rubber band and you stretch it as far as possible without letting it go and allowing it to pop you in the face, it will eventually break. So once it breaks, it means it has reached its maximum limit of being stretched, right? Alright, so let's take this example. If you go to the bank and you say that you want to open a bank account, the teller or the accountant, whoever opens up bank accounts at the bank, will tell you that you need a certain amount of money to maintain the bank account being open or remaining open. In that case, that's a limit as well. But the money you need to have in there is a minimum limit. So you must have this minimum amount to keep this bank account open. So we're going to push forward. Here's another example. Let's say when your mom smack you upside your head or hits you with an extension cord across your back, because getting hit with an extension cord is perfectly, or not perfectly, it's not child abuse. And it happens because you have exceeded her limit of being able to ask a certain irrelevant and obnoxious question. So in that case, you've pushed the limit a little bit too far, and you might want to scale back next time. So here's my questions. Do limits really exist? And should you respect limits? So here's my stance. And of course I'll give you the backstory to where this all spun about. See, it all started a couple weeks ago when I got this new Apple phone. Yeah, I was an avid Android user. I love my Galaxy, and I still think it's a special device. But I converted to the dark side. But nevertheless, I was able to sign up for the most. Like I can't stress this enough. Like, this is literally the best app ever. Apple Music, iTunes, whatever you want to call it. But tomato, potato, whatever, however that saying goes. And I downloaded one of the albums of one of the greatest rappers of all time. Long live B.I.G. baby, baby. But nah. But I downloaded one of his albums and I was just, I was getting into the groove again and my song came on. My song is Sky's the Limit. Now, I love this song because it's like the conversation that he has with his mom or she has in the beginning of the song where she's like, baby, it's just so intimate. It's like, I essentially had this same feeling or I had this same talk with my mom before, So it was essentially his mom telling him that it's more to life and what I'm saying, shoot for, the sky's the limit. But that's why I have to kind of disagree with his moms and my moms who gave me the conversation because is the sky the limit? Now you sit and you think about that. The answer, my opinion, whatever, facts actually, the sky isn't the limit because, from an educational standpoint, beyond the sky is, is what? And you take a second. You right. You guessed it. You Jeopardy, Family Feud, playing. Nah. But beyond the sky is space. And we know space technically, it has no limits. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. Energizer Bunny type flow. So, here's my question to you all now. In life, how do you live? Do you live with or without limits? In my life, I say that there's a balance that you gotta have of limits and saying, push it to the limit, or even saying screwing the limit. So I'm not gonna confuse the thing. So I'm gonna say one must attain limits and saying there's no limit. So when I think of limits, I think you as a person, when you just live by all these limitations of life and society, you playing it safe, and that's totally fine because, like I said, I believe in limits and no limits, or pushing it to the limit. I want to say I believe in limits and pushing it to the limit. So with that being said, I lean more towards limits myself, and the limits of life. And I work at regular paying jobs to pay my bills accordingly. I don't break the law, so I don't have to go to jail. I don't want to meet no warriors in there, and tons more of limitful crap I do every day. But I don't always drive the speed limit though, so that's one that's one limit I gotta get off with. Rest in peace, Paul Walker, man. They was gonna cast me as Fast and Furious Josh, so hey, put some respect on my name when you see me, man. The Toyota Camry got them horses, so you better watch out. But honestly, take a second and you put your life in terms, or better yet, categories of different type of limits. It's crazy. Like, honestly, you usually will be cautious to do anything because of limits. But I'm just saying, what if you went against the grain in some of those areas and live beyond limits? So what if you pushed it to the limit? Like Rick Ross said, push it to the limit. Yeah. What if you did that a little bit? Like, I feel like that could be really beneficial to you. Now, let me clear this up. I'm not saying go out and commit a crime or not keep a roof over your head, but what if you got out of your own ways and your own internal limits of your mind, and you shot your shot? All 2017, I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna shoot my shot." 2017, shoot it. The ball in your hand, shoot it. That's all I'm saying. But that's with shooting your shot. It means you're gonna have to push the limit. Like, seriously, limits can be a hindrance to your career and to your success in whatever the hell you intend on being successful in. So, even if you don't totally obliterate the limit, at least you push it to the point right before you think it's going to break, like that rubber band. Like, take for instance, in weightlifting and bodybuilding, the successful, they don't just become beasts by lifting the bare minimum. They just don't. They push it to the limit and beyond on some Buzz Lightyear type ish. You know, Michael Jordan and all of the greats of the past and greats to be, they don't just become great by giving the bare minimum of practice. Now, they're in the gym shooting over and over, working out to the point where the normal person or novice, you know, of the same interest or the sport would say that they're basically insane for pushing their bodies and their minds to that limit. So the people who thrive in this country, you look at that, the people who thrive in this country or in this world, for that matter, have sacrificed and also pushed the limit to some major extents. They were up. They were at it. They wanted to push it to the limit to secure the bag or that glorious prize. Like, I got to give a shout out. I got to take a moment. I got to give a shout out to my homeboy B. You know, shout out to my boy Brandon Ellis. You know, pound be better. It's a movement. But my brother, he found it in his heart and his soul to push himself to the limit. You know, with an infant child and a full-time job, dude made it his duty to get in the gym and push his body to the limit. The man could have went home every night and just went to sleep. But he didn't. He could have went out every weekend and ate and drank his body out of more shape. But no, he didn't. This guy dedicated himself to going to the gym day in, day out, eating right. Now he's reaping the fruits of his labor. So the objective is to live, I wouldn't say limitless, but in a sense, limitless. And I say that humbly and respectively. Living in my opinion, stressing my opinion, is to live free from constraints like debt and major health problems due to obesity. It's making choices in life that puts you in a better position or puts your family in better position. So, but, you know, there has to be a balance so you won't live completely limitless, you know. I don't want you to go out and, you know, be insane and, you know, just like screw it all. I got one life to live. Duh, we understand that, but be smart about it. Like, the things that you want, that you claim you want, go out and get it. And the only way you can go out and get it and be successful is by, you know, pushing it to the limit. So it's like, think of it as a balancing scale. Like, you know, you want to try to find more weight on the sides of maximum limit pushing rather than minimum limit pushing. So with that being said, man, shoot your shot. Get at it. Get it done. Then you can be like G's and Cardi B, living with no limit, like in Soldier. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. The sky isn't the limit, but, you know, think beyond the sky. You shooting for the sky, and the next man shooting for the stars. You got some competition. So, you know, like I said, there are limits, but you need to know which ones to push to help you be a better you. And live on the side of the maximum limit and push it to the limit. So that's all I got to say as far as it pertains to limits today. But before we leave, let me give you some homework. I need you to listen to these 4 songs and tweet me. Tell me what's the greater meaning in these songs. Number 1 song is Sky's the Limit by Notorious B.I.G. The number 2 song is No Limit by G-Eazy featuring Cardi B. Number 3 is Limitless by Trippie Redd. And number 4 is Push It to the Limit by Rick Ross. So, it was great talking to you today. Welcome to the podcast. There's many more to come in store. And we'll see you next time. Hallelujah. Holla back.